Can the All Whites repeat the global success of their rugby counterparts, the All Blacks, at the FIFA World Cup? Hello everybody and welcome back to Full House Sports. Here myself, Charlie. Remember before the video starts, please like, comment and subscribe. If you guys do, it's greatly appreciated as I try to become a one-man sports news bandwagon. Yes, next up in my World Cup team previews, it is the Kiwis, the New Zealand national team. Of course, infamously known as the All Whites. There's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek play on the fact that their rugby, very successful counterparts, certainly in rugby union and in league as well, to be fair to them, are the All Blacks. They do play in that all-white kit of theirs with the fern on their chest. They are as well, of course, I love this World Cup statistics, they are the only nation who, when they qualified last at the 2010 FIFA World Cup, were undefeated. They drew with Italy, Slovakia and Paraguay in their group. Of course, Spain lost to Switzerland in their first group game, the only ever World Cup holders or World Cup winners to do that. Because the draws weren't enough, they did get out of the group and haven't been seen since, mainly because of the confederation there in the OFC wasn't handed an automatic spot. They had to go through playoffs quite often. So despite the fact they would go through a rather arduous qualifying campaign featuring games against likes of New Caledonia and Fiji and Tahiti, amongst others, they would then have to face off an inter-confederation playoff, which they've lost on the last three occasions. However, OFC now, with the expanded format, have been added an automatic spot, and I think it's fair to say New Zealand will be expected to qualify more often than not through this. When you look at the pool of players they've got in comparison to those around them in that confederation, yes, football there is on the rise with new leagues, etc., being founded and new Champions League formats, but I still think New Zealand will expect to qualify. They came through qualifiers relatively comfortably, as I said. They went through undefeated, and they're a side who have players playing in and around Europe and certainly in and around the English league system. When they named their squad, as recently as yesterday, there were some names on it that certainly raised eyebrows, including Tommy Smith, who is playing for, at the moment, National League side at Braintree Town. Of course, Ipswich fans will know him very well. He played for them for many years. But of course, now he finds himself playing in non-league football. However, with his experience at the age of 36, he has been selected to play for New Zealand. Undoubtedly, though, and this is me saying this is a Forest fan, the star of the show is Chris Wood, a proven Premier League goalscorer who, even now, since his comeback from injury, has, I think, massively changed how Forest play and massively changed how things look. And he is going to be key for New Zealand at this time. He's a guy as well who, I've got to praise him, his fantastic commitment to New Zealand. He always travels back to and from for the qualifiers. He does some crazy miles when it comes to it. And fair play to him, because it does mean that sometimes when he comes back from Forest, he's jet lagged. But you know what? I think it's massively admirable. He's a goal scorer. And as much as people... I looked at this tournament, when I look at his overview, I think there's a lot of nations that don't have that necessarily, don't have a proven goal scorer, don't have the veteran up front who knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. New Zealand have that in Wood. He's still doing it at a Premier League level. He knows how to score goals, and I think we'll want to do that at World Cup. And I look at their group with it, well, at the minute we think Iran, and also with Egypt. And yes, of course, Egypt have got Salah and players like that, but I still think with New Zealand, what they've got is they've got a player there who, if they could give him just one chance or two chances, will probably score for them. There are players as well who also play in England. Tyler Bindon, who's on loan at Sheffield United from, yes, my club, Nottingham Forest. And also Marco Stamanic, who as well has a history with Nottingham Forest. So there's definitely players there that will also have experience of playing at a good level in Europe. I mean, Stamanic has been out on loan, I think, to Red Star Belgrade and also Olympiacos, as well as Bindon, of course, at Sheffield United. They have got that experience now in their locker and been around elite setups, which will definitely, I think, help them as they come towards this World Cup. Of course, remember, for 2010, there's players like Ryan Nelson playing, and defensively, and Winston Reid. I think defensively, that is going to be really important. If they can shore things up defensively and not concede, maybe hopefully hit teams on the counter-attack, like I say, give Wood that chance. Yes, he's 34, but he's going to be hoping to lead the line in an impressive fashion. Their friendly results, they've been playing up against elite opposition. They lost to Ecuador, they lost to Colombia, but do you know what? It gave them that exposure. They're not getting stuffed. They're losing 2-0, 2-1. It's worth remembering that football or soccer in New Zealand isn't a national sport. So fair play to them for that when you think about it. They've got a mixed bag of results. Like I said, they've beat Chile. They've beat as well. They've lost to Australia, though, a couple of times. Going back far back as well, they lost to Poland 1-0. They did beat the Ivory Coast last year, though, in a bit of a warm-up tournament out in Canada. So, like I say, it's a mixed bag of results for New Zealand. But what I think they've done really well with their friendlies is they've been trading it with big nations or experienced international nations, which I think could fare well when they come up against the likes of Iran and Egypt. Obviously, Belgium, they'll probably be looking to hope to nick something out of that. But I think those two, they're going to highlight probably the Iran and Egypt games as key games in terms of trying to get points on the board. And with this best third place playoff or best third place teams going through, you never know. They could manage to scrape themselves through. It'd be a great story because I love the people in New Zealand. Like, whenever I've met them, wherever I've been, they're so friendly. And it'll be tough for them because obviously they don't necessarily get that exposure during qualifiers to what maybe the Europeans or South Americans get to tough games. But they will likely be seen more at more World Cups. And I think that can only be a good thing for the future of football in New Zealand. As always, guys, let us know what you think. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated. To try and become a one-man sports news bandwagon. As always, have a great day.